and welcome to week 2 of that RowRow and Kades podcast. I am Kelly and I'm from the northeast of England, and yes, this is episode 2. So to start with, I want to say an absolutely gigantic thank you to everybody who watched my first podcast 2 weeks ago, and I was absolutely blown away. And I know loads of people say that, but literally, like, so many of you watched it. There's loads of comments on there, loads of people being so lovely, and I actually got really teary on Instagram on the night, and I put a story up and there was tears in my eyes. If I can figure out how to put a picture of it in here, then I will, and show you that I was a mess. I really didn't expect that at all. I thought like a couple of people had watched, like friends or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, you did a podcast. But it wasn't like that at all. It was like, oh, okay. So when I first did the podcast, I had 360 followers on Instagram, and I'm now nearly at 500. I think when I looked this morning, it was 492. So that is crazy. So thank you. So welcome back, and if you're new, then welcome. But yeah, insane. I'm blown away. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. It was very nerve-wracking to put that out there. It's kind of like, I put lots of knitting out and I chat and everything, but that was a piece of me a bit more. It's more into who I am. So yes. Moving swiftly on, I am going to jump straight in. If you can hear the rain outside, I'm really sorry. It's absolutely pouring down, and all washing's on the line, which is marvellous. And one more thing that I found out last week from doing the podcast is that some countries, particularly America and Canada, don't use the term fortnight, and that blew me away. I couldn't get over. Some people actually messaged me and said they didn't even know what it meant. So I'm sorry. It is a complete everyday term in the UK. It basically is an old worldy way of saying 14 nights. Fortnight, 14 nights apparently. It means 2 weeks. So I will be doing podcasts every 2 weeks for those of you who don't understand fortnight. But I'm bound to say fortnight because it is an everyday part of my vocabulary, as is with everybody in the UK. So yes, now you know what it means. Okay, so I'm going to crack straight on with finished objects. I did it wrong last week and did my whips first, and it should have been finished objects. So no one told me off. I just watched more podcasts since then and thought, everyone does their finished objects first. So I'm doing finished objects first. So the ones that I couldn't show you last week, because they were in the wash, I'll start with those because they're quite an old finished object, and that is my Stormseeker Socks. So I'll show you one at a time. So these are my design, and they're like a lightning. They go all the way around. They have the slip stitch heel flap and gusset type heel, and then a Kitchener stitched toe at the end. Yeah, so they are the last finished objects that I did before I started the last podcast, but they were in the wash. These were knitted in the Mimo Yarn Co. Mimo sock yarn, in Carrot Creek colourway. Molly, who runs Mimo Yarn Co., she's moved to Canada, which means it's going to be harder for me to get hold of her yarn, and I'm gutted because these are gorgeous. I love them. Yes, they're my socks and they've been on my feet, but they've also been washed, so I can put them on my face. It's fine. So yes, she has beautiful yarn. She has emigrated to Canada. She is just starting back up with her dyeing. So if you are in Canada or find it easy to get things from Canada, then I suggest you check her out because she's amazing. So those are my Stormseeker Socks. That's, like I said, that's my pattern. So the pattern is out if you were interested in that. The next finished object, that I've been doing is, I'm going to cross things off because otherwise I'm going to get lost. I'm a dizzy cake. Right. Obviously I've been doing the blanket squares. So the last 2 blanket squares was this one, which is Diamond Shadows. That was week 18, which has just been done. And then I suppose you can't really say this is finished objects, can you? Maybe it's a work in progress because it's not a blanket yet, it's just a square. I don't know. But anyway, at the minute it's in finished objects because I finished the square, so, but yeah, maybe it should be whips. And then this was last week's, which was week 19. So this was thistles. So that was a, can you see that properly? So yeah, so I've finished those 2. There's not really much else I can say about them. It's blanket squares and there's going to be one a week for 40 weeks. So this week, this Sunday coming is week 20. So that means we're halfway through, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. I can't believe we're already halfway through. My other finished object is my Khorasan sock. I've got 2. The other one's blocking. Looks huge in comparison because it's on the blocking pads and that one's been off for ages. So my Khorasan socks, which is my new design, they have this rib with the eyelets in, the double rib, and then this tiny cable pattern. They've got a partridge eye heel, heel flap and gusset, and they are top down, they're cuff down, so they end with a Kitchener stitch toe. If you remember, if you watched last week's, I said about me repeating the pattern at one point on one of the socks and that I was going to pull it out and re-knit it. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I cheated. I just kitchened the toe. I'd knit them that many times and I was doing the test and I was trying to help out with the test and everything where people were getting stuck and I just didn't have it in me to pull right back up to here. It's up to here and knit the whole foot again. I've got other things I need to knit and I just didn't have it in me. So I'm not. The socks will go on my feet. You can barely notice it. I can. It stands out like a sore thumb. But that bit's going to be in my shoe and I'll hide that bit when I do the photos for them. I haven't got it in me to knit them again. I just couldn't do it. So I will knit a pair eventually, but I've knitted them that much. Sorry. I'm a cheat. And my last finished object for this week was a bit of a surprise one. It wasn't on my needles last time I was doing the podcast. But you may remember I mentioned that it was going to be my son's 5th birthday. So, and both my partner Terry and my older child Kades have a octopus, what's the pattern called? Dandy Sir. Oh, I can't remember the name of the pattern. It's the real name for it. It's like the real name for a underwater sea creature. I can't think of the name. But it's by Susan Claudino, who is amazing. She is amazing. And what I really like about Susan Claudino is that if you tag her on Instagram that you've knitted one of her things, she always private messages you and tells you that you've done a good job or whatever. And for such a big designer, I love that. I think that's brilliant. So he's a little bit tatty because it was birthday on Friday and I had to have him finished by then, and then he's been slept with since, so his moustache is already got a loose thread on his button. But basically, so this is, you start with his tentacles. I was going to say feet, but they're not feet, are they? Tentacles. So you start with his tentacles and you knit each one separately. They start at this bottom bit and you knit them on in the round and deep ends. They're really fiddly. They are fiddly, I'm not going to lie. Then you leave the tentacles to one side and you start on his bottom. And as this lovely pinwheel pattern comes out, you then attach the legs on, which is another fiddly part of the process. But then you get to do this body and it all gets a lot simpler. His hat is also a little bit fiddly, but it's so worth it because it's such a lovely pattern and Rowan loves him. So I've had the eyes ages, and I've got like, from when I did Terry and Kades, I have like a pack of moustache buttons. Just as you do, moustache buttons. It's been so long since I've made one and since I've done anything with fabric glue that you're supposed to glue his monocle on with fabric glue, and my fabric glue was solid inside the tube. So, and I didn't have time to order anymore, so I had to stitch his monocle on. But I mean, it goes up a bit too high, but oh, it's loved. He's been slept with every night. So, and orange is Rowan's favourite colour, which is why it's an orange octopus. So yeah, that was my Sir Dandy octopus. I think he's very suave and debonair. And that's it for my, I still keep looking in the wrong direction, I do apologise. That is it for my finished objects this week. Oh, I didn't tell you, the octopus was knitted with, this is what I've got left. I had 2 balls of orange and 1 ball of dark grey, and it's in Drops Paris, which is 100% cotton. It's an Aran, I think it's an Aran weight. I'm pretty sure it's an Aran weight because the pattern calls for Aran weight, but you can do it in any weight depending on what size octopus you want. But yeah, so I had 2 balls of the orange. I've got a fair bit of that left, and I've got loads of the dark left because I only did his monocle and his top hat. So, and that was only 1 ball. So yes, that was in Drops Paris, which is a cotton yarn. Right. That's my finished objects. So now I'm crossing off so I know where I've been. Now I'm going to do my whips. Anything I forgot to say, I'll put it in the description below because I'm still quite new to this and I'm a bit rubbish. I might be rushing through. I feel like I'm rushing through everything, so I'm sorry if I am. So I'll get better, I promise. My works in progress then. So I showed you my pink Fizz last week, so I've done a little bit more work on my pink Fizz, not that much, but you can now see the lace work coming in a bit better. I didn't actually write out the chart. I said I was going to write it out, but I didn't. I kind of got used to the chart, I suppose, and I've been plodding along with it. So yeah, I mean, God, it's nowhere near. I'll be here a while. You'll be seeing this every week for about a year, but yeah, it's grew. It was like, I think it was like here last week. So I've done a couple of inches, I would think, on that, and that is knitted in this Drops Lima, which it's the powder pink colourway because I really liked Andrea Mowry's pink. I can't really see it in another colour, and I haven't seen it in another colour, which probably doesn't help. So I just stuck to the pink. This is 65% wool and 35% alpaca, and it's cheap and cheerful Drops, and you know, me and Drops are wonderful friends. So that's my pink Fizz. And then I did a little bit more work on my Fallen Leaves sweater by Iris H. So my Fallen Leaves, I had no sleeves on, if you remember last time. I just cast off the bottom. So I've done this much on the sleeves. There's only one thing, which is not the pattern's fault, it's my fault, that I keep noticing on it, and that's where I've gone round and collected the short rows. I'm not too chuffed with them. I'm hoping I can pull them in and sort it out because they're just, I don't know. I don't know if there's any more. I've just noticed them ones there while I was knitting the sleeve. So yeah, they're in the back, but What a rubbish knitter you are, Kelly. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Right, so that is my falling leaves. Not very far with that one. Just a bit. Now, I realised this week, the last 2 weeks, last fortnight, I have felt a little bit like I've got to get that done and I've got to get that done because the podcast and I've got to get... And although some people would think that was awful, it's spurred me on and it's made me like, you need to get these things done for the podcast. So I have a secret whip that only I know about, that has been in a bag for about a year, I think. Not too long. I know of some people who have whips for... I know some people have whips for years, and I do know, I was watching Enchanted Yarn's podcast. I don't think she podcasts anymore, which I'm a bit sad about, but I was watching her podcast and she found a whip that was 25 years old. That's amazing. Well done. But, yes, I haven't found it. I know it's there. I just keep avoiding it. And you'll see why I keep avoiding it. So this is my Lariat top by Yamagara. Okay, so this is the back. It's going to be hard to fit on this screen. So it's got these gorgeous eyelets at the top of the back, and then it has this really intricate cabling going all the way down to the bottom, and then it's twisted rib, and it's reverse stocking stitch as well, stockinette, covered in hairs because it's been shoved in a bag. I've got the back, I've got the sleeves, and I've also got the front. So why isn't it together, you may say? Because I hate stitching up. I hate stitching up. I knitted it because I think the top is so beautiful. I really, really like it. And I treated myself to, what's the yarn? Oh, I can't remember. I want to say Yarnspirations, but I don't think that's right. I don't know. But I treated myself to it. It was on sale. I've just knocked the stitch off the end. It was on sale, and I bought it. I needed 4 balls, and it ended up costing me about £40, which is not too bad considering. It's really beautiful yarn. I will put in the bottom what it is because I can't remember. I know the colourway is poppy, but I just can't remember what the yarn is. But I'll put it in the bottom. I treated myself. I loved the top. I knitted it all, and then when it come to the sewing up, I shoved it in a bag. So, because of the podcast, I've showed you it now. So now it properly exists. It's real. And I have to get it done. Simple as that, isn't it? So hopefully, I might come on next week wearing my Lariat. I don't know. But, does anyone else hate stitching up? I don't know what it is. I just really, really don't like it. So I really do try and knit everything in the round. And most of my patterns are in the round. And I know I should really write some flat, but I hate it so much. So yes, sorry. That's my Lariat, and I'm going to try and get it done over the next fortnight. We'll see. Now, my last whip for today is the girl's dress that I was talking to you about. I showed you it last week. It was the little green one, and I wasn't happy with it. I was working it bottom up. I was doing the skirt first, and I wasn't happy with the drape and everything. So I've completely ripped that out, and now I'm much happier, and I've got this. This is how far I am. So this is my design, so it's not available yet. We have needles. We have little... Oh, come on. It's only little. It's a newborn size. It's 3-month size. We have these little... Can you see that? Little lacy sleeves. that I've just cast off. I didn't want any edging on them because I thought they were pretty enough on their own. It's got a little like V going into the shoulder there. It has eyelet increases and it's raglan. There is a horizontal stitch braid and eyelets around the neck there. And then there's another horizontal stitch braid going across just under the arms. So it'll flow out from under the arms. That's what I'm hoping. Like an old Jane Austen type, Pride and Prejudice. And it has a buttoned back. So, because we know what babies have massive heads. So we've all been there with our massive heads that we have to grow into. So I thought it'd be easier to have button up back, and then it's nice and wide and easier to get on. And it's going to be sizes 3 months up to 8 years. So I'm going to get this finished, and then I'll hopefully be getting it into testing over the next couple of weeks. And hopefully it's nice and flowy. It's going to have little frills on the bottom here, and I'm hoping it's going to be beautiful and nice, fingers crossed. So that is my last whip. Right, last fortnight I said yarn enhancement, which I didn't mean, I meant stash enhancement. So my stash enhancement and acquisitions this week. There's not that many. I am about to start some beginner socks to teach people to knit socks who haven't knitted them before. So I got the socks in DK. This is the Fleet colourway, and I'm going to just do a really simple sock design with this. I do love socks, yeah. I love Coop's knits. I want it in DK so that it was a quicker knit, and just so you get used to how socks come together and what bit is what and all the rest of it. So it's in DK to make it quicker, and yeah, so I bought those for that. That's hopefully going to be happening over the next 2 weeks. I also got some Debbie Bliss Cashmerino. I don't know what colourway this is. Oh, burgundy. Very fancy. Burgundy. This, I haven't bought this. This was sent to me from Let's Knit magazine for a commission for them. So I actually can't, sorry, something come up on my phone. So I can't, I won't be able to show you what I make from this for a while until it goes into the magazine. But a little clue is I got this pom-pom. How pretty is that? That's to go with it. Oh, I can't, there we go. The purple and yes. That is for Let's Knit magazine. The pom-pom I got from Etsy from this person. Focus. Are you focusing? Can you see that? I think so. So yes, and it's beautiful. It's lovely and floofy, and it's big and fat, which I like for a pom-pom. So I won't be able to show you anything that I do with that until it comes into the magazine. As soon as it's in the magazine, then I'll show you. But that's the other bit of stash that I got. And I also treat myself. I have random sock blockers that are really cheap. Like I said, I'm not rich, like I said before. This is my main sock blocker, which is this wooden rubbish thing that I got off eBay years ago, and it's all like, see, it's like rough, and it sometimes catches the socks and everything else. And I only have one. I don't have a pair of sock blockers at all. So I decided that I was treating myself to this because it'll be great in photos on Instagram and things like that, but it's just, I mean, look at that. So I had to. I saw it and I had to. So I treated myself. This was from Tribe Yarns. Is it Tribe Yarns? Oh, I'm so rubbish at remembering people. I'll put it all down so you can see. I think it's Tribe Yarns. It's a yarn shop in Manchester, and I got this delivered, and yeah, I'm like, oh, it's gonna go up on my wall. I'm sticking it on my wall. I need to get a screw in the wall so I can hang it up. So, and I think that's it. But that's it. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoy it, and I'll see you in a fortnight. 2 weeks. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.